Hello, my dears. Danielle here, and welcome to the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. Hey, have you marked your calendar for the Aesthetic Marketing Seminar online event? It's happening September 20th and 21st, and you do not want to miss it. If you are a Growth Factor student, Spa Retail Rockstar student, or Post with Purpose student, you get a free ticket. Nothing you need to do. We'll be sending out information as it gets closer. But our AMS is known to be packed with actionable to-dos and strategies that are working right now to take your business to the next level. We never teach the same information twice. We focus on what is working now, what's going on right now that you can do to take your business to the next level. Now, if you're not a student of ours and you'd like to attend, you can grab a ticket for only $97. And while all the material both days will be taught live, and we encourage you to attend live, you will be getting the recording so you can go back and review the material as often as you'd like. Save the date now, and more information will be coming very soon. That's September 20th and 21st. Okay, so I have a really great interview for you today. Have you ever met someone who almost seems superhuman? Someone that you're saying, oh my gosh, how do they do it? Well, we all have those people in our lives. And today's guest is certainly a high performer. Her name is Dr. Gina Charles. I've been following her on Instagram for a while. I love her messaging. I always feel uplifted from her post. She is a lover of systems. So of course, we are going to be best friends. Dr. G is a physician. She owns Serenity and Wellness Medical Spa in Philadelphia. She owns a photography and bridal makeup business with her husband. And she has two little kids, like the same age as mine. So of course I was like, oh my gosh, how is this woman doing everything and looking beautiful and rested at the same time? So I wanted to bring her on to share her story because I think obviously what she's accomplished is very impressive, but I wanted to uncover the way that she thinks, the actions that she takes, both in her personal and professional life, to accomplish these goals, right? Because being an entrepreneur, it can feel so overwhelming sometimes. And especially when you throw family and other responsibilities into the mix. So what are these individuals? What is she doing to accomplish these big goals? What is she doing differently? How's she thinking? How's she acting? What's she spending her time doing? Those are the types of things that we chatted about in this interview. And of course, I was not surprised when she started telling me about the very clear systems and processes that she uses both in her personal and professional life. So let me just do a quick read of her bio, and then we'll jump right into the interview. So Dr. Gina Charles, also known as Dr. G, is a board-certified family physician, entrepreneur, skincare expert, and fierce advocate for women's health and wellness. As a respected voice in the medical and beauty community, educating diverse audiences, Dr. Gina serves as a mentor for women in STEM, particularly in the areas of health and beauty. She got her start in the beauty industry several years ago during medical school, where she would do bridal makeup as a side hustle, as well as provide makeup services to breast cancer patients as a pick-me-up. Currently, Dr. Gina is the CEO of Serenity Aesthetics and Wellness, a boutique aesthetics practice in Philadelphia where she's fused her love for beauty and medicine. Additionally, she and her husband own and operate Ade Gina Studios, a wedding makeup and photography studio. They have two children, ages 5 and 1. When it comes to entrepreneurship and life in general, Dr. Gina believes in putting systems in place so the work is executed effectively. Okay, amen. Love that. All right, guys. So enjoy this interview. Be sure to follow Dr. G. She's got some awesome posts on Instagram. And let me know if you have any questions. Just tag us over in the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. All right, without further ado, let's play that interview. All right, Dr. G, Dr. Gina Charles, so excited to have you here on the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. You have such an incredible story. I know that our listeners are just going to be wowed. And I love to have stories of other women who are doing big things to show that it's possible. Right? You can have a great career. You can have a family. There's ways to do it and ways to approach your life to get the things that you want. And I've been following you on Instagram for, I would say that you've been popping up in my feed for at least a year now. And I love your post. I love your messaging. I feel so aligned with the things that you're saying. I see the post and I'm like, yes, that's so right. So I was so excited when you agreed to come on as a guest on the podcast. So
thank you. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit of background of, how did you get into, so you're a physician. Did you always know that you wanted to do kind of the wellness route, or did you want to get into family practice first? Like, how did you blend all of that?
Sure. So it's actually interesting. When I was in medical school, actually before medical school, I would assist a friend of mine in weddings. So I was in graduate school at the time, and she was doing bridal makeup, and I would just go and help her clean brushes and things like that, just to make some extra cash during graduate school. And then I started learning how to do makeup application during that time. And then by the time I got to medical school, I started doing makeup on cancer patients as a pick-me-up, just to help boost their self-esteem, because there have been studies that show that beauty care really do help with patient satisfaction as well as outcomes. Mm-hmm. So I started doing makeup on cancer patients. And my husband, who is a professional photographer, a wedding photographer, had a wedding and they needed a makeup artist. So he said, well, Gina, can you do the makeup for this bride? And I'm like, well, I've never done a bride's makeup before. And I love a challenge. So I said, yes, I'll do it. So I did the bride's makeup and it was amazing. I got great reviews from her and her family. And from then I started doing makeup on the side as a medical student, working alongside my husband. And one of my friends in medical school, she said, you know what? In a couple of years from now, I can see you having a med spa. And I said, what is that? I don't know what that is. And she explained what a med spa was. And I said, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. And at the time, I didn't really put too much stock into it at all. I knew that I wanted to go into family medicine because I love the variety of family medicine. As a family doctor, I am able to see a variety of patients, from the young ones to the older ones. I can do women's health and still have a great mix within my practice. Mm-hmm. So that's why I went into family practice. And then it just so happens that several of my brides were asking for help with skin and getting their skin prepared for weddings. And I decided, you know what? I need formal education. So I am a licensed physician. Let me go and take the necessary coursework. I enrolled into several courses in aesthetics and skincare and business to really be able to provide my clients with optimal service. So they were able to get makeup application. They were able to get skincare, get started on a skincare regimen, get started with a treatment plan. And I was able to follow their journey for several months leading up to their wedding and even after their wedding. So that is how my love for beauty kind of transformed into this business where I was able to fuse the passions of medicine, makeup, beauty into one. So,
but that really is, do you realize what a unique skill set that is? I mean, because you have the right, like I've worked with so many physicians over the past 15 years that I've been in this industry, and physicians tend to be incredibly skilled at a specific thing, quality care with their patient, right? But they're typically not great business people. They're typically not creative, right? So, and they typically don't know very much about skincare. Especially, it's like derms know how to solve the problem. They know how to treat the condition. But when it comes into understanding skincare ingredients and building regimens, they have to learn about it. And for you, you have this incredible, like you have the the knowledge of and training of being a physician and understanding how the body works, but you also have the artistic side of understanding, the makeup, the beauty, the aesthetic. So it is like this perfect mix, which is so interesting to me. I love that. So, okay. So you have a wellness center in Philadelphia. You have your photography business. You also have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So tell me, you are clearly someone who knows how to get what they want. So how do you set goals? How far in advance are you planning for things? Like when you were going to medical school, was that only what was on your mind? Or how are you saying like, I want this for myself and here's what I'm going to do to create it?
Right. So that's actually a really good question. In order to effectively put all of these things into place that I've done over the years, I had to set goals. And I set daily goals, monthly goals, and annual goals. And this is something that I continuously do. And the goals are typically something that is measurable. And oftentimes I am going back and checking, have I done this? Have I done that? How can I improve? So when it comes to the family, same thing. I knew that I did not want to start a family during medical school because I really wanted to just focus on my studies. But during residency, we got married and, we decided to start a family then. So I had my daughter in my chief year, and having children, as you know, can be difficult with managing a business, let alone 2 businesses. So I've definitely had to put quite a few systems in place. And this year, especially after having my son, who's now 13 months, put systems into place so that I can still provide attention to the children, my husband, and then business.
So when we're talking, and this is my love language here as we're getting into systems, but as we're talking about being a present mom, because I see on your Instagram too, like you're out, I just saw you like hiking up a waterfall, like the whole thing. And you have to have systems for like, what's for dinner? How are we going to do our grocery shopping? How are we going to do time management? Like all of your systems for your personal life, but also for your professional life and really understanding. And I'm curious what your thought process is or how you do calendar management, because I know so many of our listeners out there are saying, I have these goals, I have these dreams. I have no time because my kids or because of my current job or whatever it is. There's always like some level of excuse, but you hear that quote, like we all have the same number of hours in a day as Oprah, right? And it is time is, yeah. Yeah. So what's the difference in the way that those women have built their dreams and followed their dreams, right? Because everybody starts out as just a normal person. It's choices that we make and how we choose to spend our time. And they're still normal people. They just have managed, they have a talent and they've been able to capitalize on that talent. Every single person listening to this episode has a talent, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be a movie star or a singer or whatever. It's how are you going to capitalize on your talent, manage your time to reach your specific dreams? Yours going to medical school, having a family, right? Like it's a big piece in understanding thought process and choices. And maybe it's an accountability question. I don't know. What do you think?
So it's definitely multifactorial. So the first thing is when it comes to personal or business, you definitely want to start with taking inventory of the things that you need to get done. So when it's personal, things that you need to get done at home, literally making a list. When it's professional in your business, making a list of all of the tasks that you have to do. Now, when you look at all of these tasks, you then want to prioritize. Oh, well, what's really important to me? What do I not want to do? Um, and you start to prioritize things. Okay, so these few things are important to me, and I really want to get these done. These are important, but they're time consuming, and I really don't feel like doing that. And then you start to look at ways that you can delegate those tasks. So for me, food shopping, I know it's important, but it's not something that I really want to do because it's going to take 1 to 2 hours. So in our household, what we've done is my husband will sometimes do the grocery shopping, or we'll order everything online and do pickup. So we don't necessarily have to spend 1 to 2 hours in the supermarket and Costco.
Mhm.
So the same thing in my business. I look at certain tasks that I need to get done, and see, well, for example, social media. Social media is a huge part of marketing. Some people love to sit on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and respond and post, etc. But if you have your business and you have these little ones, you may not have time to spend on social media. And I have learned that, because I've learned that when I spend so much time focusing on social media, that it's taking time away from, going on a trail with my children or even sitting and watching Netflix. So something that I've done is delegate to a social media manager, someone who can post from the business for me so that I could spend more time with the family. So when it comes to your love language systems, I think the number one thing is taking inventory and then delegating based on the inventory.
Now, I was listening to a really interesting podcast. It was Rory Vaden. He was a guest on Lewis Howes' podcast. I've heard him speak a couple of times, but he was talking about a new way of thinking. So he was saying in the 50s, we started worrying about efficiency. And then in the 80s and 90s, Dr. Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about importance and then prioritizing what's urgent, what's important, and kind of listing out how we are productive and make our choices. And today Rory's been studying multimillionaires and billionaires who have accomplished great things and really trying to understand their thinking. And what he was saying is that these people that have accomplished such great levels of success, whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're a business owner, just in whatever your arena is, they're thinking about, what can I do today that's going to give me more time tomorrow? So focusing on anytime that you can create a system for something, anytime that you can automate something. And I think the problem that so many people get stuck in is, it's only going to take me 5 minutes, so I'll just do it myself. So have you ever had that struggle of, it's only going to take me 5 minutes, I'll do it myself? Or how do you know, like, okay, it's going to probably take me some time to train my social media manager, but I know that that's going to give me more return once I get them trained?
Yeah, so I definitely struggled with that initially in business. I thought that I could do everything myself. And as most solo entrepreneurs do when starting a business, you think that you can do everything yourself. This is only going to take 5 minutes. This will take 10 minutes. But when you look at the list of tasks that we have to do, that 5 and 10 minutes adds up to about 12, 13 hours in the day. And after a while, you find yourself burning out and burning out within your business. And that's something that we don't want to do, right? So I learned that earlier on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have to put something into place so that I'm not burning out in business. When it comes to writing my blog posts or updating my website, do I necessarily want to do that all the time? No. So I have someone who can update the website, who manages the website throughout the year. I have someone to do the email list, a virtual assistant who does the email listing, newsletters, and things like that. So again, looking at that list, I was able to delegate tasks to various people on my team so that it's not all falling on me, because I saw myself burning out in the beginning. And I said, you're going to fail at business if you want to do everything yourself. And I am a type A personality. So initially I wanted everything done my way. I wanted it to be done right. But the good thing about leadership is that you need to be able to choose the right person for the task and be able to relinquish control. That is the only way that you are going to be able to scale your business and get to that CEO level where you're more so thinking about the vision as opposed to working in your business like a workhorse all the time.
Oh, I
So
couldn't agree more.
relinquish
Yeah.
control and trust that person. Granted, it's trial and error. You think you find the right person, and then you find that you have to make some adjustments. But over time, you will be able to communicate your needs, your expectations, and work with that person.
For me, it was getting my team, if they can do it 80% as good as I can, that was my initial measuring point. Now my team does everything way better than me. So it's like they get
Train
to,
them.
yeah, you train them and then they're doing that task over and over and over again. And they become much better than you at doing that task. There's things in my business today, granted, we're 7 years in, but there's things in my business today that I don't even know how to do it. I could go and find a system of how to do it, but I wouldn't know how to do it because my team has ownership. And that is what I personally believe gives you the freedom that so many entrepreneurs are looking for. They think, oh, I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to have this freedom and flexibility and financial growth. And if you're holding on to, I need to do everything myself, you're trapping yourself in a little box of, never having that time to go hike on waterfalls with your kids or, I know my son's 15 months and going through the first year of a baby to begin with, and then during a pandemic and, dealing with the social, like, how do we socialize our kid and how do we make sure that they get the germs that they actually need without getting bad germs because they're building their immune system as well. Right. So it's like, there's so many things, and run a business when the world is in this state. There's to be able to, I was so grateful this past year that I am an entrepreneur and that I do have a team, because when my son needed me and my daughter during this, just, whatever you want to call it, time, I was able to go. If my son was having a really hard day, I could say, you know what, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to spend time with him because he needs me. And that is my top priority. And that's something that in most jobs you can't do. Right. So to be able to get to that space where you can create that for yourself, that for me is priceless. That's more important than any amount of money I can make, is having that true freedom, that time freedom and that lifestyle freedom, is just so, so important. I think that's why I love systems so much, is because I value that more than anything. So,
and that's also a great quality of a leader.
Is what? Passing control to their team. Put systems in place. Yeah. So where do you find two things I'm really curious about? Where do you find inspiration for yourself? Like, what inspires you? Are you scheduling time into your week to read books, to attend different trainings, like spend time in nature, whatever it does that inspires you? How do you plan for that? Let's ask that first. And then my next question is going to be, how do you hold yourself accountable? Because it's so easy as women to put our kids, to put our family, to put our clients, anybody in front of ourselves and what our goals are.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. And it's something that, as a wife, a mother, a business person, physician, it's a constant battle. Because on the weekends, I look at the week ahead, I look at my schedule, I look at my calendar. I'm really big on having my book with a calendar as well as my Google Calendar. And I look at that to see what days I have nothing to do. I make sure that there's 1 to 2 days in the week where there's nothing. And that is when I actually have time to myself. If there's something to do that day, I find that I end up doing more things that day. And I'm not able to do for myself. So, for instance, it may be a Friday. And if I'm not in the office, if I'm not seeing patients at the time and my schedule is blank, I'll do things like go swimming. I took up swimming this year so that I could learn how to swim. And if it's not swimming, it's just going outside, taking a walk around the block, or going for a drive.
So you like to do something physical.
Mm-hmm. Yes, something physical. I love dancing. Sometimes I come down here to my office at home and dance, but my daughter wants to join me because she loves dancing as well.
We have all kinds of dance parties at our house.
Right. And it also burns them out a little bit so they can take a nap later. When it comes to reading books, I will tell you that I have not been able to read as many books as I would like, but I do listen to several audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to audiobooks on my drive. I'm a subscriber to Audible, so I will listen to books on my drive. So that's how I get a bit of books in. And then in terms of reading articles and things like that, I'm always reading articles. Believe it or not, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. is when I read the articles when my son wakes up to nurse. So I'll just be nursing and I'm reading, just a random article on my phone at the time.
Wow. So is he just waking up once in the night?
Yes, he wakes up once in the night. And
Okay.
it's around the time that my daughter, so we are training her to wake up at night to use the bathroom. So it's around the same time that she wakes up to use the bathroom. So
wow.
It's a little half-hour stint.
Good for you. I nursed until Luca, my son's name is Luca. I nursed him until 13 months. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. That's all I can do. And I know it's so important and I'm so supportive of women that can go longer than the year. But for me, that was such a freedom to sleep through the whole night and not have to wake up to nurse.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that as well. I am totally looking forward to that. My daughter went 26 months. I don't know how long this one will go, but I am looking forward to sleeping a full night. It's been 13 months.
But I love that's the reality is like, because there's so many people out there that's like, oh, I can't because of this. Like you went through medical school, you have 2 businesses, you're still waking up in the middle of the night, right? But you're doing it, you're making it happen. So I guess, what do you feel like? You said you go outside and take time for yourself. You're listening to books on Audible. What do you feel like is your biggest driver? What keeps you going every single day? Is it the love of working with patients? Do you have kind of bigger goals that you're wanting to accomplish for yourself? Are you trying to teach your kids to be the best version of themselves? Like, what is it that motivates you every single day to be a high achiever? Is it just something you're born with, or? My husband and I have this conversation quite a bit. Can you teach drive? Right? Where does it come from?
So I love seeing others happy, and I love seeing results. I'm really results driven. So, and I'm a problem solver. So I think my drive comes from being able to make an impact in others' lives, whether I'm getting up and I'm going to see patients and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to suture today. I'm going to cast today or something like that. or I'm going to improve this hyperpigmentation or these wrinkles today. I'm doing something to service someone else, and their outcomes is what drives me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I have a feeling that there's something special inside of you too, though, because it's you are clearly a driven person, right? Like you don't have multiple businesses. You don't go through medical school without having that push or that drive. I wonder, tell me about your self-care, because you have a lot of, you're very passionate about women's empowerment. That has to lead to a healthy self-confidence. Do you believe that believing that you can really helps you achieve those things? Yeah.
Absolutely. The number one thing, you have to believe it in yourself in order for you to achieve these things. And I start the day off with positive affirmations. And I learned this from one of my from a mindset coach years ago when I did mindset coaching. And initially I was like, okay, well, I'm just saying these positive affirmations. But after a while, I owned those affirmations every day, and it was empowering me. So now I am on my drive, going into the office, going into the clinic, and I am affirming positivity into my life so that when I walk in, I'm not crabby. I am smiling. You are going to get a great version of me because I started my day off. Granted, there are some days that I wake up and I'm just like, oh, last night was terrible. These kids. But, it can't always be perfect, right? But positive affirmations have played a huge role in just giving me that empowerment.
Yeah, I love that. I do affirmations with my daughter every single night for her.
Yes, we have affirmations for my daughter as well. It's so interesting to hear her say her affirmations at night with her little voice. But it's definitely going to mean something when our daughters get older and they have to interview for these jobs, stand in front of boardrooms, etc., and give presentations to classmates. They'll remember those nights and they will walk in there feeling affirmed.
Yeah, so true. So in wrapping up, what advice do you have to business owners out there who have these big dreams? What if they're feeling kind of overwhelmed, stressed, or like maybe they can't do it? What if you were ever in their shoes? Like, what do you do? What advice do you have? What's an affirmation that that worked very well for you?
Okay. So, in terms of advice, I would say one, take inventory of all of the tasks that need to get done in your business. Two, delegate those tasks or prioritize those tasks. Three, schedule the tasks to be done throughout the week, not all in one day, and save at least 30 minutes of your day where you are going to block off just for you. That 30 minutes is critical each day. It can be a nap, it can be listening to music, it can be taking a walk outside. That is going to help you to refuel. You cannot always be inundated in your work, emails, spreadsheets, marketing, and making plans for your business. You have to take a step back to refill your cup, so to speak. And when it comes to affirmations, one that has really helped me, oh gosh, I have so many. I am doing the best that I can, and I honor where I am today.
I love that. I'm doing the best that I can, and I honor where I'm at today. Because it's all a work in progress every single day.
Absolutely. A lot of times we look at others on social media, comparison is the thief of joy. And a lot of times we look at other people in their businesses and we're like, oh, well, I'm not there yet. Or, oh, I should be doing this. No, you're doing great right now. Enjoy where you are. So that is one affirmation that has really helped to center me so that I'm not comparing myself to everyone, and realizing that I am on this journey and embracing where I am on the journey and knowing that I'm doing the best that I can right now.
I love that. I love that. So where can people follow you, stay in touch with you? I mean, I know I love your Instagram, but is that the best place?
Sure. So people can follow me at Dr. Gina Charles on Instagram. If you are into skincare and aesthetics, you can follow at Serenity Aesthetics and Wellness on Instagram and Facebook. And to get in contact with me, you can find me at www.drginacharles.com.
Perfect. And we'll include all those links under the show notes. As always, if you want to keep the conversation going, please head on over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group, and we'll catch you on the next episode.